Now, for the 16th time in this series of Wednesday calls, I am very pleased to introduce Katie Carlson, who will offer a brief presentation followed by seated mindful movement practice and guided meditation. Katie was appointed to be the first Director of Wellness Initiatives for the Marion County Sheriff's Office last year. Previously, she served as Public Information Officer for the Sheriff, a position she assumed in 2012. Katie finds peace and balance through yoga practice and great joy in sharing her yoga and mindfulness practice with others. Katie completed a 200-hour teacher training at City Yoga in 2019, and last week completed her coursework to become a certified mindfulness teacher through the Engaged Mindfulness Institute, a 300-hour program. Katie, once again, welcome.
Thank you so much. You might notice there are two of me on the screen. I'm a little nervous about my internet, so I'm trying to have a backup ready just in case. So holler at me, please, if it doesn't, if I'm a little, if my internet's not going very well. It is so nice to be here and get an opportunity to talk with you all again. In the past, I've mostly presented on yoga philosophy, including the yama and the niyama, or yoga's guidelines to living ethically, as well as dharma, or finding one's path in life. My plan is to continue in this tradition, beginning a new series this evening, granted that I am invited back to present, called The Balancing Our Energy Centers. And when I say energy centers, what I'm referring to are the chakras, sometimes pronounced chakras. The word chakra is a Sanskrit word meaning wheel or circle, and the philosophy of chakras arose in early Hinduism. While we are familiar, most of us are, all of us are familiar with the concept of a physical body, the chakras refer to one's subtle or energy body. There are 7 chakras that align from the base of the spine to the crown of the head, and each of these energy centers is believed to correspond with different aspects of our being. If the concept of a chakra or an energy center is new to you, this introduction might seem a little bit far-fetched or even woo-woo to be presenting on a call directed towards members of public safety and the people who support them. However, I chose to begin this series because, much like the yama and the niyama of yoga philosophy, focusing on each chakra is an opportunity to bring our attention and balance, if necessary, to various elements of our being and general wellness. So we'll begin with the first of the 7 chakras, which in Sanskrit is the Muladhara chakra, otherwise known as the root chakra, which is what I'll be referring to it as for the remainder of this presentation. The root chakra is located at the base of our spine and at our pelvic floor, and also corresponds with our feet and our legs, the roots of our physical bodies. The root chakra is associated with the color red, and it is also associated with human development from conception to age 7, which is key in understanding the aspects of life associated with the root chakra. It's not uncommon to hear the terms being rooted or being grounded, even outside of a meditation or any kind of spiritual practice. Generally, those terms are considered positive attributes about a person with a strong sense of stability. And as we know, finding these aspects of being rooted or grounded do not come without considerable amount of work. We also know that a sense of stability means having your most basic human needs met, including air, food, clothing, and shelter. Coincidentally, when we refer to Maslow's pyramid of human needs, you'll find these same needs at the base of the pyramid, and usually associated with the color red. Now, I don't know whether or not the pyramid image was created in direct correlation with the much older chakra system, but I do point it out as an interesting fact that ties this ancient system of energy centers with widely accepted and fairly modern psychological science. All of this together means that the aspects of our root chakra that may affect our lives or well-being are generally contained in the areas that I just mentioned. So let's return to the word roots, which is often associated with one's family, including their immediate family, but could also mean going back generations. We know that, sadly, in some cases, that the family that one is born into will often set the stage for their stability in life. Among both children and adults, a sense of stability is often based on their basic needs being met. So, when we consider imbalances in the chakras, you can usually think of them in terms of too much or too little. Balance in the root chakra might include a personal sense of security and stability, feeling strong and supported, a sense of being at ease in your body, and having all of your basic needs met. Signs of imbalance might include depression or anxiety, overeating or undereating, a lack of boundaries with others or rigid boundaries, exhaustion or aggression, disorganization or hoarding, and the list goes on. Out of balance chakras can also manifest themselves physically in the body. For the root chakra, this could include issues in the legs and feet, as well as constipation. You might be surprised by the familiarity of some of these um, imbalances, and that's because they're all incredibly common. There's a sense of universality when it comes to the chakras, and in general, we can all use a little bit of balancing out, which is what we are going to do in our practice in a few minutes. So, our root chakra may be in pretty good balance or it may be off a little. It could have to do with childhood or generational conditions. It could have to do with a sense of whether or not our basic needs are being met. It could be related to serious trauma from a young age. It could have to do with a sense of disconnection with family members. It could have to do with worrying about living expenses. Much like in our meditation and mindfulness practices, when considering our chakras, we have an opportunity to cultivate kindness to ourselves and a sense of curiosity. As if the sense of stability associated with the root chakra is the object of mindfulness, we can become curious about any imbalance and do what we can to bring the chakra back into balance. So, how do you bring a root chakra into balance? This can include creating a sense of groundedness through connection to the earth, going for a walk, gardening, just spending time outside. Grounding activities during a meditation practice, like the connection of our feet to the floor, mindful movement that connects our seat in the root chakra with the support of our chair. Wearing or connecting to the color red, mantra like those used in the safe, resourced, and connected meditations. It's even suggested to consume red colored foods. So, from here, we're going to begin to move into our guided practice, including mindful movement and meditation aimed at bringing balance into our root chakra. So, we will go ahead and just find a comfortable seated position. I'm going to move my chair back a little bit so it's easier to see. If it's comfortable for you to be able to find an upright seat so that your feet can come flat to the floor, that would be good. If that's uncomfortable, feel free to lean back into your chair. But to the best of your ability, just start bringing attention to your feet, grounding your feet into the floor, going back and forth, going side to side, really finding all four corners of the feet. Looking at them, connecting with them as you move, toe to heel, side to side. Just a couple more times, just really starting to feel connected. And then you might even push your feet a little bit more firmly into the ground, less rolling and more planting. So from here, we're going to bring our arms and inhale, lifting our arms up over our head. And as we exhale, we're going to bring our right hand down by our side. It can come anywhere that's comfortable and stretch our left arm up and over our body. So we start to bring a stretch into the left side of our body. And we want to stay connected with our breath here. So we breathe in through our nose and out through our nose. Just taking a couple deep breaths here. With our next inhale, we're going to lift our arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we'll bring our left hand down, reaching our right arm up and over, bringing that stretch into the right side of our body and reconnecting with our breath. So we breathe in through our nose and out through our nose, in through our nose, out through our nose. With our next inhale, we'll lift our arms up overhead. This time as we exhale, we'll twist to the right. So we'll bring our left hand to the outside of our right knee. We're going to take our right hand and place it either on the back of the chair or at the base of the chair. So we're really trying to place our hand at our root chakra there, right at the bottom of our spine. And we're turning our head so that our head is turned looking out over our right shoulder. So we're in this seated twist and we connect with our breath, breathing in through our nose and out through our nose. One more big round of breath in and out. And then inhale, lifting our arms back up overhead. Exhale, switching to the opposite side. So this time our right hand comes outside of our left knee. Our left hand, if it feels better, you can put it on the back of the chair, but if you can, setting it down by your root chakra, right by your seat, at the base of your spine, turning your head to look out over your left shoulder this time and connecting with your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose, in through your nose and out through your nose. And with our next inhale, we'll lift our arms back up overhead. And as we exhale, we'll bring our hands back down by our sides. From here, we're going to take our right leg and cross our right ankle over the top of our left knee. If this is comfortable, if it's not comfortable, you can keep your legs, you can cross your legs down at the floor, like at your ankles. So just making sure to listen to your body, not do anything that will hurt or feel strain. And so bringing our attention back down to that left foot, we want to ground that left foot back into the floor. So we're reconnecting with our roots. With our next inhale, we're going to lift our arms back up overhead. And as we exhale, we're just going to start to fold over our legs. So this is going to look and feel different for everybody. Just listening to your body. You might come down to your arms if it feels good to take this stretch a little forward. Wherever you end up, just try letting go of your head and letting go of your neck, just letting your head hang here. Then connecting with your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. With our next inhale, we'll start to come back up to that seated position, just slowly rolling up. We'll uncross our legs. And then we'll cross the left leg over the right knee or keep them down on the floor if that feels better for you. Whatever your body's asking for today, tuning in with that. So we'll take an inhale through center. And then exhale, just start to lower down to whatever is a comfortable level over your legs. It could be on your arms. You might be able to fold over, just whatever feels good, and connecting with your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Once again, bringing your attention into the floor that's planted, the foot that's planted into the floor, letting your head hang, staying connected to your breath. And with our next inhale, start to slowly walk back out of this. Uncrossing our legs. And from here, we're going to ground our feet one more time into the floor. We're going to bring our hands to our knees if it is comfortable. And we're going to do some seated cat-cow. So we'll inhale, and we're going to bring our chest forward and lift our head up toward the ceiling without straining our neck. And then as we exhale, we're going to round our back and release our chin to our chest. So you should really kind of feel yourself rolling onto that back part of our spine. And then inhale, bringing our chest forward, lifting our head up. Exhale, rounding our back, releasing our chin to our chest into a seated cat pose. We're going to do this about 2 more times. So just inhale, bringing your chest forward, lifting your head up. And you don't have to go at the same pace as me. You can connect with your own breath and move in a way that's comfortable, just releasing your neck, letting your head come down towards your chest. Inhale, bringing your chest forward. Last time, just rolling through this seated cat cow. Exhaling back. And then inhale, coming back up to a neutral seated position. So in yoga, doing a physical practice like we just did, asana, helps prepare our body for a meditative practice. So we're going to begin to shift into a seated meditation practice. I'm going to come back a little bit closer. We want to reconnect with our seated position, finding this secure and steady position up, the crown of our head reaching towards the ceiling, still feeling relaxed and comfortable. Your hands can come down into your lap or wherever they feel most comfortable. If you want to fold them in your lap, you can do that. If it's um, works for you, planting your feet into the floor. And you have the option to keep your eyes open or keep your eyes closed. If you keep your eyes open, just casting your gaze down, not letting it, not staring at a screen. And we want to start to connect with our breath here. So we're not really making any changes to our breath, not the inhale, exhale of yoga, just starting to notice it. After doing the physical practice, we may start to notice an increased heart rate, just noticing our heart beating inside of our chest. Connecting with some of the sensations of the breath that Robert guided us through in the opening practice. Paying attention to the point where the breath enters the body. Maybe that's through the nose, maybe it's through your lips. Noticing the specific sensations of the body as you breathe in, an expansion in your chest, an expansion of your belly. And noticing the sensations as you exhale. Maybe a flattening of the belly, contracting your rib cage. Just becoming curious about the breath, curious about the way it feels to breathe. This vital need that we all have, that thank goodness we don't have to remember. Just noticing the way that the body breathes naturally. And then we're going to let our attention come down to our feet once again. We want to begin to notice the sensation of our feet being placed on the floor. What does that feel like? What can you feel? What does the pressure feel like between your feet and the floor? If you have socks or shoes on, what do those materials feel like? Brushed up against your skin. Maybe you notice some movement of air, maybe heat in this hot weather, maybe air conditioning from inside. What are the temperature of your feet? And just letting our attention rest here, staying connected to our breath, being breathed naturally. Getting as curious as we can, playfully curious about the sensations between our feet and the floor. Is there something else you can notice? Maybe it's a little bit of tingling that often occurs when we bring our attention to a part of our body. Maybe a certain sensation stands out as the strongest. Maybe the feel of socks or shoes, or the feel of the surface in your bare feet. And as we let our attention rest here, it's perfectly normal if we start thinking about something else. Something happened that earlier today, something that's going to happen later. We just begin to notice when our mind has wandered and kindly, gently bring it back to this practice, bring it back to the sensation of our feet. Or if that's an uncomfortable sensation for you, back to the sensation of your breath. And then we're going to begin to gradually shift our attention from the feeling between our feet and the floor to the feeling or the sensation that's connected with this sitting posture. Maybe you start to notice the points of contact between your seat, the back of your legs, and the chair. Maybe you begin to notice any fabric that's on your legs or fabric on the seat or whatever the texture of the chair is and how that feels against your legs. Maybe you notice airflow, warm air, cool air. Maybe it's a different temperature beneath your legs and on your hips. And just like we got curious about noticing as much as we could between our feet and the floor, we get curious about this sensation of sitting. Maybe we notice a little bit of tingling, maybe a little bit of soreness or achiness. Maybe we notice it's easier to pay attention to one than the other. And it might help to stay in this moment, especially if our minds feel busy, if they keep going to something else, which is perfectly normal. It might help to say to ourselves or repeat to ourselves, this is what it feels like to sit, or this is what sitting feels like. Starting to expand our awareness from our feet and our seat to include our entire body. We may start to notice a place in our body where we're holding extra tension, maybe in our shoulders, maybe in our brow or our jaw. Just noticing if we can release some tension, release some muscles. Just letting ourselves sink a little bit deeper into our seat, a little bit deeper into this floor, this ground that supports us. Just noticing what we can let go of, what we can release. And then to close this practice, if it's comfortable for you, we'll just start to take 3 deep breaths together. And with each inhale, I'd invite you to bring your shoulders up to your ears. And then exhale with a sigh, letting your shoulders release down into your back. 2 more times, inhaling, bringing your shoulders up into your ears, releasing with a sigh. 1 more time, inhale, bringing your shoulders up to your ears, releasing with a sigh. From here, it might feel good to bring a little bit more movement into your body, maybe taking another twist like we did at the beginning of practice. If your eyes are closed, I'd invite you to gently let them begin to flutter open before coming back to any screen, just starting to look around you and notice exactly where you are in this space and this time. Noticing your surroundings, noticing where you are here in the present moment. I thank you for this practice. And sorry, I'm losing my voice. And I welcome any questions. And then I also have some discussion questions for later.
Great. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you. Great. Fascinating. And thank you for the practice. So yes, please, let's open it up. There may be someone who has a question or a comment, and please feel invited to, you can simply unmute and speak, or if you want to put something in the chat, you could write something there. But please do feel encouraged to bring your voice in.
Who'd heard of chakras before today? Okay, most people. I'd be happy to, Alfie. We've worked together. I work for the sheriff's office.
I, go ahead, Al.
I'm sorry, what?
Kimball?
Yeah, I had a question for you, Katie. So these practices originated in the Middle East or in India or where?
Yeah, it's the chakra system really, it's kind of, and I'm not a super expert on all of it, but a sister science to yoga would be Ayurveda, and which is more of kind of the bodily science, and they both kind of came up together, and in the India area, but I wouldn't want to say that it's exclusive to that. So I mean, it's very old. I mean, 6,000 years, I think. So maybe not 6,000. Maybe I'm going a little bit too far back, but
It just seems like, this would have been taught to early physicians in some sense, right?
I mean, I think that there's been a lot of wisdom tradition lost in modern medicine, but hopefully, there's people that are, bringing some of it back. I mean, I know a lot of people who have benefited very much from, really kind of using Ayurveda for healing instead of kind of a traditional modern medicine. But I say there's room for everything.
I had a question that just occurred to me, and I'm not by any means any sort of expert, but I am a little bit fascinated with the polyvagal theory, and I was trying to sit here and kind of get my head around how the chakras and some aspects of polyvagal theory might interact or relate to each other. And did you have any thoughts on that?
I don't know enough about polyvagal theory. I mean, I know that it's there. I know it's there. I know that all of the chakras are also really strongly associated with different glands in our body, and I should have put which one it is. Let's see. I'm gonna look it up real quick. The adrenal gland is which one that's but isn't polyvagal theory also connected to kind of the different glands?
Yeah, it's the largest cranial nerve, and it actually is connected to the adrenal as well as the lungs, and clear up to the brain stem, and then up into the brain, and then all the way down to our digestive tract through the pelvis. And it's even said that when we breathe deeply, that we are, massaging our vagal system and getting ourselves into what they call ventral vagal. So I'm very much a rookie in trying to understand polyvagal theory and its application, but it just struck me as I wondered if there was some connection. Sounds like physiologically there probably is.
Yeah, and really the glands I underplayed in my there is so much to say about the each of the chakras that I was trying to condense a lot, and so yeah, so I would think probably the first place to look would be between the relationships with the chakras and the glands, and then the polyvagal theory and the glands.
Thank
you. I just have a comment about one of your comments that really was helpful to me. When we were sitting and you said, "This is what it feels like to sit." And I think that we take so much for granted, especially when I'm working with clients and we're doing something, and we might be paying attention to our trauma or our anxiety, and we say, sit in it for a moment, sit with it. And they may not know what it feels like to sit. And so I thought that was really very helpful for me and really enlightening. I am sitting. And it was really, really powerful for me. That was.
I had great teachers.
I want to jump on to that too, Sherry. I had a physical reaction to that statement when she said it, because I was like, wow, I can't tell you couldn't see it because it's off camera, but I was reaching for my phone so many times tonight because I'm like, I'll just do I'll play a little game while I'm doing this, or I'll do, and I'm like, what the heck, dude? You're supposed to be
But they're sitting.
I said, quit chasing the squirrel tonight,
Yeah.
But it really helped to hear that, because not only just sitting, but sitting with stillness is how I heard it. Sitting and
Or
being
lying
still.
down, or any.
Yeah.
This is what it feels like to do this, lying down or sitting. It can. I'm thinking in my mind, I can take that into a number of different places, and by awareness, this is what this feels like, and that was powerful. Yeah, I wrote it down.
The nice thing is that it's a really helpful tool for a busy mind, because it gives your mind something to do while you're being present in that moment. And so
Mhm.
that's what I like about it, because even after all this, I mean, I'm still everywhere. So I use it all. I use it all the time in my own practices.
It's quite common to work with the breath in that way, right?
Mhm.
This is what it feels like to breathe in. This is what it feels like to breathe out. I mean, just even that constant tracking. And then once we sort of start settling that, we can reduce the number of words. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. It can reduce to even in, out. It sort of depends how still the mind is. And so that's the sort of beauty of these tools, is we can arrange them to work with wherever we are at that particular moment. So I imagine, Sherry, that this is very true working with clients, that you can sort of assess level of activation, agitation, calmness, tranquility, and where's that entry point that's effective.
I'm a philosophy fan, and so Descartes says, "I think, therefore I am." And when I'm going through these exercises, I'm thinking, I'm not thinking in that manner. So I am not all I can be, because I'm not. And exercises like this, this is what it feels like to sit or breathe or whatever makes me an I am, if you will. Yeah.